gets a job and they have enough money to buy a car, how come I can say no to him? And don't say, oh, he's not old enough for a license. No, we're already beyond that. Yeah. Yes. There you go. Just because he has enough money for a car doesn't mean, does he have enough money to live independently? So, and I'm sure many of us heard, is like, as long as you're under this roof. Not under age, bro, come on now. It's like, as long as you're under this roof. I'm sure many of us are familiar with this statement. What does that mean? It's like, okay, hey, listen, because you're still dependent on me for 70% of your things or 60% of your things, I still have a major say in your decision making. So it's important for us to understand, like, what does dependence actually look like, and how is it that I can make meaningful engagements on that decision making process, and how and when those things are supposed to be leveraged. But like I said, does it necessarily make it any easier? Usually not. Right? Like, it's still challenging. It's still hard. Nobody likes seeing their child getting hurt. Nobody likes seeing their parent getting hurt. Nobody likes seeing their parent deteriorating. And even in situations where, like, there are many parents that I know, unfortunately, that are going through this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aid them and their children. I mean, what happens when a child's just out of control? It happens. What do I do then? I mean, you can't abuse them, and then what happens? It's an option, right? Okay, well, what is the end result of that? Okay, it's good to know. I'll keep that high on my list. What are some things I can do? What if there's just complete non-compliance by the child? Child's 16 years old, not listening. Huh? Okay, well, why don't parents exercise that? He said you kick him out of the house. Why don't parents exercise that? I'm sorry? Love for the children. Okay, they love them, for sure. What is the purpose of kicking the child out of the house? Getting more independent friends compared to keeping them inside the house. They're more what? They're more afraid of getting that child may get more. Oh, so that's from, okay, yeah, from the parents' perspective, they're like, okay, well, if we kick them out of the house, there's a chance that they'll get worse. Is this a meaningful option or no? It's not, so I should keep them in-house. And I'm constantly being disrespected, right? It's usually, like, this is a situation, like I'm just sharing. And this is, unfortunately, I wish it was one anecdotal situation, but unfortunately it's a pattern. It's like when you have a child that is completely disrespectful. And this isn't to excuse the parents that I'll kind of allowed it to get to that point. And sometimes they don't, right? There are situations where the kid is just, for whatever reason, they're non-compliant. So if I have a child that's completely non-compliant, what do I do? If you're telling me I can't kick him out, what do I do? You can threaten to give sure. The option. Okay. Sure. And they continue to disrespect. Then you give the taste. Okay. No. Sure. I try to bring third parties in, and I think that's very meaningful, right? Like, why I try to bring a third party mediator into the situation. Why is it that it takes so long to get to these steps, though? Like, these things that you guys are mentioning are good, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's like, okay, hey, you know what? Yeah, go ahead, kick him out. Like, if it gets to a point of non-compliance where he's not listening, remove him. Type. And if it comes, okay, well, seek mediation. Why do those steps take so long? It's our own egos. Because up until that point, what are we thinking? What are we telling ourselves? I can fix it. And that's what's scary. At what point should I engage? At what point should I start reaching out? Right, the first time I feel something. And how many of us know, regardless of the situation in the relationship, hey, something is not right? Yes? Yeah. Okay, maybe the first time I didn't see it. Do it second, third, fourth, 16th time? I'm saying it shouldn't, but it does. Right. So I'm just saying, all right, well, what is preventing me from catching it maybe the third time it happens? Or the second time? Or even at least the first time I see something that I want to do something about it? It's not ignorance. It's not, because if it was ignorance, then it would never get to a point where they kick him out of the house. Yes or no? Like, if I'm ignorant, I should be consistently ignorant. Or if it's ignorance, it's like, okay, how come it gets to a point where it's like, oh, I need to talk to the Imam? And by the time things get to me, many times, it's too late. Many times. I won't say every time, but many times it's too late. It's already broken beyond repair. And if we understand, like I said, it's just many times I can fix it, I can take care of it, they just need to listen to me, he just needs to listen to me, she just needs to listen to me. Like, think about it. Like, how many of us have heard us say this to ourselves in our own heads? And how damaging that is to our relationships and how damaging it is to others. And even in the situation we talked about with the kids, the situation we talked about with the parents, all of those things, the more we engage in that, the worse that relationship ends up becoming. It doesn't become healthy, it doesn't become better. So, and it's important for us to be careful. So over here, he's giving the example of the scholar, right? Like, how does a scholar get to this point? Because during the time of Imam Ghazali, we had said that an easy track or an easy path to wealth was to learn Sharia, because that will get me what? I mean, that's ideal. I hope everybody's sincere. Recognition, why? What's happening? If I go study Sharia, what can I do? Where can I go? Where can I work? I get a government job, right? I get a sweet government job. I can be a transcriber, I can be a judge, I can be a representative, I can be someone who writes and quotes the fatwa, somebody who writes these books and puts things together so we can have a codified manual. There's so much work that's available there. Like, how do I become famous? How do I show off my knowledge? How do I show that? By debating. And during Imam Ghazali's time, one of the easiest and quickest ways to become famous is to become a great debater. Today, we have people who become famous through debates as well. It's not, I believe it is a way of becoming popular. I don't think it's as popular as some of the other ways and some of the other means. But how many of you have seen those, like, you know, the Muslim da'i crushes Christian, like, have you seen like those like clickbaity titles, you know, where they engage others and they deal with others, and what happens in those situations, and then how many views do those get? A lot. Right, they get a significant amount of views. And during Imam Ghazali's time, the same thing happened. That these individuals, in order to show that you are more knowledgeable, I can write fatwa, I can write books, I can, like, the way things were published and shared. Now you're still talking about 6th century Hijri, right? So Imam Ghazali, he died 505. You're talking about in the 400s, about 1,000 years ago. Could they publish books the way that they're published today? Things took time, man. Things took time. You're still talking about handwritten scribes. You're still talking about recording. You're still talking about taking a book from one place to another. You're still talking about, if I wanted access to a book, I actually had to go to the Sultan's library because he's the only one who could afford it. And even if you could get a book recorded in that way, it was still a very oral culture. There's still a lot of engagement, still a lot of debate, still a lot of rulings. And what they would do, and this is also another easy way for entertainment. I'm saying even today, when we look at these debates, we're usually less concerned with the information that's going back and forth and more concerned with what? Like reactions, how they're engaging. And the more we're concerned with how, because debating itself is an art. Do I have to be the more knowledgeable debater to win a debate? No, I just need to be a better what? Debater. So here he's saying, okay, what happens is that sometimes a person might enter these debates, he might enter this jadal and these munaqshat, he might enter with a sincere intention because he's like, okay, hey, listen, I want to prove this masala is right. I want to prove that this is the best way to understand this. I want to show that this is the best way to engage this issue. How do I solve this problem and how do I solve this? So what happens is that over time, more and more people start attending, right? Like you're sitting, you have one small debate, it might be 5 people, and then the next time what happens? It's like 20 people. And the next time they're telling their friends, it's like, bro, you got to hear this guy debate. It's amazing. So you should have seen how he was talking to the other guy and what he said to him. It's like, well, what were they talking about? I don't know, dude, but he crushed him. So then then you have 500 people come. Then you have 1,000 people come. Again, a very easy way of becoming popular. And what happens to an individual's heart? It starts becoming corrupted. And arrogance starts creeping in. Right? And a person starts to think of themselves higher than they actually are. Right? This is a danger in these spaces. And again, this is why the Prophet ﷺ said that one of the people who are thrown by their face into the hellfire is the scholar. He said that you studied so that people would call you a scholar. You didn't do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. And essentially, what is this person doing, right? It's knowledge or worship. These are the two things that Imam Ghazali is talking about. So the first group that he was talking about, we had said like the ulama, we said that the scholar class, that he had no problem criticizing them. The second group of people he had no problem criticizing were the Sufis, his own people, right? And he was from both. He was a scholar and he was a Sufi. He had no issue criticizing groups that he was a part of, people who he learned with, people who he sat with. And he said that it is these same scholars, the ones who walk around with their uniforms and the ones who walk with all these students and they start having all these great, munadarat, where they have like these huge gatherings where they're debating and engaging with others. He said, also you people who come in, like you're walking around with your dhikr beads and like, you have all these people who are surrounding you and people who are like, bowing down to you. He's like, man, you guys are the same thing. It's like the two sides of the same coin. You're doing it with knowledge and you're doing it with your worship. Like both of these paths are extremely dangerous. Why? Because both of these people, remember, they both feel that they are safe. The scholar, he feels he's safe with his knowledge, and the abid, and the worshipper, he feels he's safe with his worship. But there should never come a time where an individual feels safe of arrogance. Right? The moment that I feel safe from my own arrogance or from riyā or all of these things, that is the time where it is the most dangerous. And it's important for me to be aware. So he brings a statement of the Prophet ﷺ, no one will enter paradise who has in his heart, so there's different, but khardal is like a mustard seed, like a very small amount of iman, or a very small amount of arrogance. He said a person who has this much arrogance will not enter the paradise. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. And we had talked about what arrogance over here meant, right? There's a difference between being proud of your actions. There's a difference between being proud of your accomplishments. There's a difference between proud of the things that you have and the things that you've done and thinking you are better than others. Right? These are two separate things. And one is allowed in the Sharia. One is not just allowed, it's something that is praised in the Sharia. And there's one that will actually get you thrown into the hellfire. And may Allah protect us. And so he asks, this individual, he said, could still magnify himself and look down on others when the Prophet ﷺ has declared such a one among the people of hell. He's like, how is that? How can this person who thinks of himself so highly, this person who has surrounded himself with knowledge, this person who surrounded himself in ibadah, this person who surrounded themselves with books of zuhud and staying away from the dunya and talking about the importance of rizq. I don't know if I shared with you guys one time. One time I had a manager of one of the masajid, and he had a few imams who worked under him. He came over to my house, and he's like, Sheikh, I need some advice. I was like, what's up? What's going on? He's like, man, I'm really having problems at the masjid. I was like, can I guess what to? He was like, sure. I was like, with the imams. And he was like, yeah. I was like, let me guess. They're complaining about their pay. He was like, yeah. And I said, and you find it ironic because they're always talking on the minbar on how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Razaq. He's like, yeah. And I said, you probably also have a problem because they're always demanding respect. He's like, yes. And I said, and they're the same ones who are up on the minbar talking about humility. He's like, yes. I was like, I get it. I was like, I have the same problem. Like, I have the same issue. But it's so easy to fool oneself. And like having that mic and having people look at you, it can become so intoxicating. It can make you feel like you know something. It can make you feel like you earned something. It make you feel like you deserve something. When the reality is, like, we don't deserve any of those things. Like, in staying humble in those circles, it's so hard. It's so hard to stay humble in those circles. Like, I've sat amongst clergy and like they're like just arguing amongst themselves. It's like, yeah, man, they should be giving you a first class ticket because you're leading them in a Hajj group. And I'm just like, yo, what is happening? Like, what is going on right now? Like, I don't understand. Look, I'm not advocating that service people shouldn't be taken care of. Right? So whether you're an imam, right, like you're a qadi, or like you're a masjid counselor or a mediator, whatever, right? I'm not saying that these people shouldn't be taken care of. The problem comes is when these people feel like they deserve that they need to be taken care of. And having that balance can be really challenging, right? It can be really hard. Because the person will always, like, they surround themselves with all these garments without realizing what it is that we fall into. And he says, like, a truly great person, they're actually free of these things. It's not because they've overcome it, right? I want to be very clear here. Arrogance is something that will always follow us. Whether it be like kibr, riya, these things are always chasing us, they're always following us. There's always that sense in our hearts. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that the shaitan, it runs through man like what? Like through blood. Like, you know, he's just constantly there. Always, listen, if he can't catch us from here, he's going to try to catch us from here. If he can't catch us from here, he's going to try to catch us from here, right? Like, he's always trying to find openings to take advantage of us. So, this person who is free of it, why are they free of it? Because they're constantly engaging and they're constantly fighting. Like, this is why it's called mujahadah. Because it's not a one-time thing. It's not like, haha, I've conquered arrogance. No, that's not how that works. It's like, okay, yeah, I might have conquered arrogance in this moment. I might have conquered riya in this moment. But it doesn't mean that I've conquered it as a whole. Because the moment I let my guard down, remember what I said, that the shaitan, he's always looking for, right? He's always looking for a way. In the moment I let my guard down, he's going to try to take advantage of my heart again. So Imam Ghazali, he says that, you know, if a true scholar, right, somebody who's actually been able to successfully embody the Quran, to embody the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who's been able to embody the Sharia, what are some things that he does? So he says that it is almost as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to him, you have a standing with us so long as you see no standing for yourself. If you see a standing for yourself, you have no standing with us. That the only reason that I love you and the only reason I hold you in high regard is because what? Why? Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hold anybody in regard? I'm sorry? But what do I have to do to earn that? Okay, deeds is definitely part of it. I have to submit. And what does submission look like? It looks like humility. That's essentially what it is. That basically, the lower I hold myself, the higher Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala holds me. And the higher I hold myself, the lower Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala holds me. And how do I maintain that? Again, it's like humility, fighting kibr, right? Like, I'm constantly fighting against this idea of arrogance, constantly fighting against pride, because I want to bring that balance to my heart. And that can only happen when I start having this recognition that I'm not deserving of any of these things, nor am I allowed to impose any of this on others. What do you guys think about that? He said, so if a scholar is arrogant, what does Imam Ghazali say? He's actually not a scholar. So for him, information doesn't have a lot to do with this. Information is a big part of it, right? I need to know. If I don't have information, I can't function, I can't give fatwa, I can't give rulings, I can't speak about different issues. But he's saying that that's only part of the formula. A big part of the formula, again, is embodying all of the information that we have. That's what makes this amal so fruitful. And one of the benefits of the scholar is that he benefits himself and he benefits others. And he's constantly reminding himself about arrogance, constantly fighting it. Right? The more information and the more knowledge a person has, the more lowly they should actually hold themselves, and the more humble that they should be. So he closes, he's saying, okay, this entire discussion helps understand and helps frame how is it that people can become arrogant through knowledge and how people can become arrogant through worship. So he says the third cause through lineage and ancestry. So now he starts talking about dunyawi reasons, right? The first two were religious reasons. Now he's going to start talking about all the worldly reasons that might and do lead to arrogance of people. So he says that, okay, a person with noble lineage might look down on others. Okay, what is a noble lineage? What is he talking about? What does high class mean? Who determines high class? Society. What makes one family different from another in larger society? It could be a lot of things, right? So it can be influence, it could be financial, it could be political, right? There's so many things. There's so many things that can judge and decide what a family is and whether that family is considered noble or not. If you're Sayyid, right? If you're Sharif, right? So there are a number of things. Even in Islam. So if we use this example, if if you're Sayyid or if you're Sharif or you're Radwi, right? Like, so all of these names, why do they have any value for us? They're all the same. Like, it's just that you have like Sayyid, Sharif, you have Radwi, you have Husseini, right? Like, all of them are just where they come from the lineage of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And why is that important for us? So a connection with the Prophet ﷺ through his family. What else? Respect and honor. We have to respect and honor them. Why? Because these are the grandchildren, the family of the Prophet ﷺ. The lineage, yeah. The lineage. Yeah. And especially the ones in India. they made it all the way to India. And why is that? Because number one, there are specific rulings that are related to the family of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ, the people who he loved most were his family, right? So out of his sunnah, we have to show a respect and we have to honor them as well. Does that make them any better or worse than others? No. But again, they have to be honored and they have to be respected. Other than that, does that mean like we put them all in castles? No, right? Obviously that's not what's intended. Other than that, okay. Does this play a role in our lives? It does. In what way? I'm sorry? All right, so on an individual level, if I know somebody comes from like a lowly family, and many of us, or I won't say many of us, some of us might come from countries or places and spaces. Like here in the US, do people generally care about your ancestry and lineage? And generally don't. A lot of that stuff is actually imported from foreign cultures. And where does it usually appear? When it comes time to what? When it comes time to marry. That's when it becomes a big deal. Are people from different lineages and families, are they okay with being friends? Usually, yeah. Are they okay with eating with each other? Are they okay even with helping each other? In the moment the conversation of marriage comes up, what happens? All of a sudden, everything shifts and changes. Why is that? That's all when the arrogance shows, right? It's like, yeah, oh, I'm not arrogant. Like, I just invited them over for dinner last week. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's like that person that says, like, I'm not racist. I have a black friend, right? Like, we have some of that, but that just shows on how arrogance can actually manifest. And why is it that I'm willing to do everything up except marriage? It's like, no. We are from a class of people, and I need to marry into that same class, because what am I trying to do? I'm trying to preserve the class. Right? That's the danger in all of this. So that's the question that I wanted to ask. Should I marry into particular families? Like, when I'm looking to get married, should I marry into particular families? Yeah. Yes? Okay. Like, if I'm from Somaliland, I would never marry somebody from Somalia. Right? So, did I hit a nerve? Huh? Okay, so if my reason is not because I'm trying to preserve elitism, then that's fine. But why would I do that? Why would I even, here, let's talk about preference. Why would I prefer X family?
Compatibility.
Right, compatibility is a big thing, right? So compatibility in what sense?
Culturally, language.
Right, so culturally, right? So culturally it can be, can culture have a manifestation in lifestyle? Right? So I want to marry into this family. Why? Well, because that family has a very similar lifestyle to the one that I'm familiar with. They have a very similar palate to what. So I was actually just having this conversation with my wife yesterday. She was like, you didn't really like the Pakistani food, Indian Pakistani food in New Jersey, but you like it over here. And she was like, well, what do you feel the difference is? I was like, well, actually, I think the palate over here is closer to the palate I'm familiar with. Within the same culture of food, is there a difference in how people spice things, even within the same region? So even that little bit of difference in spice, it's actually something that is more enjoyable to my palate. So if that's something I want to maintain because of familiarity, right? This is something that's really important. Another example of this, if I'm Bengali and there's a Bengali masjid and there's a Sudani masjid, should I force myself to change my values and my ideals and that to go and pray at the Sudani masjid? No, I shouldn't. Now, if the time for prayer is coming in and I'm nearby, what should I do? Right, I should go, right? It shouldn't be something that prevents me from going there, right? But will I be a regular congregant at this place? No. Why? Huh? Right, there's a lot of barriers, right? Language, culture, maybe they're a different madhab, right? Like even the way that they practice religion. Sudanis very classically are what madhab? Maliki, very very classically Maliki. Indo-Pak, very classically Hanafi, huh?
Would you say status quo, so to speak?
Status quo is a little bit different, right? That varies from people to people, and it can be related to culture. But it's important for me to go where I'm comfortable, not because I think less of that community, but I'm more comfortable with this one. And how do I know that's not a problem? Well, because when I'm in the area, what do? I go there. Or it's like, okay, well, this is actually the masjid that's closer to me, so I go and pray there regularly, but when it comes to social and educational programming, what do? I go to the other one. Again, because I'm more familiar with that. And clearly it's not an issue of superiority. But when it comes to an issue of like comfort and things like that, there's nothing wrong, again, with having preference, as long as you don't believe those preferences do what?
Superiority.
Make you superior. So he brings some interesting examples. How does this manifest? It manifests especially in confrontation. And a very, a clear example of this is that the Prophet ﷺ, he was in his quarters and he heard two companions arguing. And as they were arguing, they started calling their brothers. And he was like, "You're just an Ansari." And he's like, "You're just a Muhajir." And the Prophet ﷺ, he came out, he's like, "What are these calls to Jahiliyyah while I'm still amongst you?" So if we look, subhanAllah, like just from that hadith, it's very clear. If you want to talk about prejudice, if you want to talk about racism, the Prophet ﷺ summarized that. And what is the term he used? He used the term Jahiliyyah. It's jahl. It's to be racist and to be prejudiced. This is actually jahl. It's actually ignorance. And that's the way that he ﷺ actually explained it. And again, where does it show? It always shows in conflict, right? Like the moment I'm in conflict with someone, why is it that we start using these terms? Why is it to be like, I'm from this family? Why does it come out in conflict?
To attack character.
I'm sorry?
To attack character.
So one way is to attack them. What's another way? Well, it definitely is to attack them, for sure. But in what way? How's that attacking them?
Superiority amongst families, ethnic groups.
Okay, so when I say that, what is that? If I said to you, it was like, "Oh, you Indian?" Why am I saying that? Or I'm doing it to belittle them and to show that I'm superior. In that you have no right to what? You actually have no right to engage me. You have no right to fight me because I'm what? Because I'm superior, I'm better. That's essentially what that is. Right? And that's what makes this so dangerous. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. So are me? Yes. Right, yeah, it seems like, I don't know, man. I feel like Ghazali, he was dealing with some stuff, man. Allah yarhamu. I mean, these are all stereotypes. I mean, I'm sure that this was still early enough in Islam where even very early on, these ideas, right, of people from different, why even use those? Because they're so foreign. At this point, which cultures had become very integral to the Muslim empire? The Arabs, for sure, right? So there was a huge superiority conflict with many of them. I won't say with all of them, but with many of them. And what other group of people? Persians. The Persians. And the Persians had a huge superiority complex. They were always trying to outdo the Arabs. So, because they were had become such a long-standing integral part of the Muslim empire, who were the foreigners now? These were the foreigners, and these were the foreigners. And what is also sad, is there not racism and classism within those individual cultures? It's so wild. It's so wild. Like, I didn't realize what racism really looks like until I went overseas. And people talk about racism in America, I was like, yeah, there's like a lot of racism. And then I went to Pakistan. And then I went to Saudi. Then I went to Egypt. And I went to Lebanon. I went to Emirat. I went to Qatar. And I was like, oh my God. It's like, wow, you guys actually have laws in your books. I was like, man, like we hint at stuff over here, they're just blatant about it. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's like, it's very open. It's very open. It's the first time in my life where the first thing that people ask you when they approach you is like, where are you from? The first thing. They don't ask your name. They're like, where are you from? And why is that? Because it's a qualification statement. It's like, okay, where do I place you? Where do I put you? Where do I put you on the totem pole? Over here, people will ask it, but it's usually like the second or third question, right? It's not, it's not, they don't walk up to you and like, where are you from?
Here it's different. What do you do?
Maybe, like, so I'm saying like, you can, I'm not saying it's non-existent, but I will say that it's less in my experience and it manifests in a different way. It's not as blatant. It's not as clear. So yeah, like, and these, subhanAllah, you know, he's writing this like 1,000 years ago. Do these statements sound very different to anything that we hear today? Like, it's very similar. It's crazy how racism hasn't changed. It's like, it's not like we've gotten like more creative. Well, maybe with the memes. I think the memes are pretty funny. But like, but like just in general, the statements, they're relatively unchanged. Yeah, but you know, may Allah protect us. So what does he say to do here? So over here, he's saying that this is something that is actually very deeply embedded in those people who are associated with these noble characteristics, or these I won't say characteristics, but with these noble lineages. So what does he do? Does something? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do we need to check on that? Okay. Was it mouse again? I like how you picked up your purse. So like, I was like, never mind. I was going to make another comment. He says here, for a person who might be born into that family, what should they do? What are some things that they can do to actually help avoid falling to that level of arrogance? Is it a crime to be part of like a noble family? No. Or like, or a prestigious lineage? Like if I'm born into a family that's affluent, I have to be more cautious, right? Versus if I'm born into a family that's not as strong, right? Or I'm an orphan, right? Like there are people who just don't have that family support, and they don't have that family backing and that family recognition. And there are some people who they come from families, they have no problem being assertive, they have no problem being aggressive, because it's like, yeah, I have like 50 cousins with me. Like, you give me a problem, you're gonna have to deal with the whole family, right? It's like that. And I'm not here, like, obviously that's wrong. Yeah, subhanAllah, like and that's the thing. The more support that an individual feels they have, what happens? The more assertive and arrogant that they can become. And that's exactly what Imam Ghazali is talking about here. Like, listen, you want to fix this, then you have to be what? You have to be aware of it. And it's important for us to understand that anytime Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed any one of us with any type of wealth, with any type of power, with any type of influence, right? And whatever that influence might be, right? You might be a very attractive person, right? Is that a power and level of influence? It is. Yes, it is. What does that mean? That means that there's an extra responsibility that you will be responsible for in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, if Allah has given you wealth, you're extra responsible for wealth. If Allah has given you strength, you're extra responsible for your strength. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you health, you're extra responsible for your health. Because these are all gifts from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the more gifts He gives someone, the more responsibility that they have to take upon themselves. And it's not strange when the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I looked at paradise and I saw mostly what? The poor. Why? Because they didn't have an opportunity to do what? Right. Not just to be arrogant, to misuse their wealth. Right? If I don't have money, can I ever misuse it? Right? And this is a protection that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed over some people. And sometimes, like, you know, I understand that it's very easy to get frustrated, like when we don't have wealth and we don't have money. Yeah. Listen, take solace in one thing, that Allah didn't test me with that. And sometimes I think that can help contextualize some of the problems and the issues that we face. So awareness, like, and this is something that we'll see time and time again. Awareness, right? And having that awareness and how important it is. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. we'll stop with this hadith. But Abu Dharr, he once argued with a man in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ, and he said to him, "O son of a black woman." And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "O Abu Dharr, enough, enough. There is no superiority of the son of a white woman over the son of a black woman." And Abu Dharr, radiallahu anh, he said, "So I lay down on the ground and told the man, stand and place your foot on my cheek." And why did he do this? He's like, no, I need to physically humble myself for how I insulted this person. And look how quickly he changed, right? The moment the Prophet ﷺ was like, he's like, yo, you're being arrogant. What does he do? He immediately falls to the ground. This ability to pivot is so important, right? This ability to change. The moment I hear something wrong, it's like, no, I'm going to do something about it right now. I'm not going to allow this. I'm sorry? It's not just acknowledge, it's acknowledging doing something about it. Right? Some of us know it, right? It's like, hey, you're being stubborn right now. It's like, yes, I am being stubborn right now, right? How many of us, we do that? It doesn't help the situation, because that's actually worse. I'm acknowledging that I'm being stubborn, and what am I doing? I'm still persisting. I'm persisting on being stubborn. Over here, it's not enough to acknowledge it. He immediately does something about it. We have to learn how to pivot. That's what makes this so powerful. It's not just seeing and knowing and no. It's actually, the actions are what are important here. And you have to take initiative, immediate initiative. There's no delay. It's like, yo, no, I need to do something about this right now. So what does he do? He lays on the ground. He's like, listen, no, I'm deserving that you put your foot on my face. That's what I'm deserving of. Because of how I belittled you, I physically will stand underneath you. So, I don't think you have to go to this extent. You know what I mean? Unless you feel it, right? I'm not. Listen, respect. If it gets to that, and you're willing to do this, may Allah bless you and increase you. But it's again, the importance here is the lesson in learning how to take that initiative. And what is the easiest way of doing this? Anybody who I have wronged because I feel I'm being arrogant with them, or I feel I'm being racist with them, all I have to do is I can go, I apologize. How would you like for me to apologize to you? That's it. Just be humble. Right? That's the easiest way of being humble, because that's the easiest way of being appreciated. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين كل خطيئة إنه هو الغفور الرحيم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Any questions? Yes.
You're saying about how you treat your parents when it comes to arrogance.
Sure.
I had to give you an example saying that the doctor said that if your old mom had to force herself to walk.
Yeah. Like physical therapy. Yeah. Otherwise she's going to lose the ability to walk.
Right.
Yes.
And because of her old age, she's not able to do that on her own, and you have to force yourself to beat ego or arrogance to make her sure that you...
So we have to frame the discussion properly first. Number one, is she accepting your help and asking for it?
I guess she's too stupid that way. If she's too lazy, or she's just like, okay, you know what, I have had enough of it in my life, I just want to relax.
Okay.
She doesn't really realize that she'll probably be on the bed if she doesn't take steps.
So what do you do? Are you physically going to pick her up and fight her?
You talk to her kindly, but if she doesn't do it,
You do what?
you talk to her in a
Talk.
kind manner.
That's it, man. You just keep reminding her. That's all you can do.
But if it doesn't help.
We all fall into self-destructive behavior, like I said. And here, where are some things I can take a little bit more initiative in? I'll give the example. Okay, mom, listen, if you choose not to start walking and using your leg muscles, I'm sorry, I don't have the ability to come and check on you and do all these houseworks and these chores for you. In that situation, no, you're allowed to push a little bit more, right? You know what I mean? The more, I would say, the more responsibility that falls on you, the more you're allowed to push back. Does that make sense? It's not about oh, I'm going to force. No, I have to force her to do this, otherwise it's going to end up falling on me. I don't have the ability to nurse you. And the other problem that happens is I understand some of these relationships are very toxic, right? It's, unfortunately, especially with parents, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and not allow us to be like that. I mean, that it's okay, I'm not going to do this, and when things get worse, I'm going to rely on you more. It happens. I'm down again. Unfortunately, this is not one-off. It's a pattern where you have a parent who refuses to take medicine, you have a parent that refuses to take physical therapy, you have a parent that refuses to control their diet. And it's like, okay, when your health deteriorates, you are dumping this entire responsibility on me. And that's not fair. And sometimes things get very complicated. So I don't know how many of you are aware, like when a person reaches a particular age and they're eligible for like Medicare or Medicaid, and they say, okay, hey, listen, I need in-house care. Do you guys know how that's funded?
Yeah.
How do they do that? They put a lien on the home. So if you own a home, they put a lien on it and they start taking from the value of that home. You guys know what a lien is? Okay.
On the house, right?
Yeah, on a house, yeah. So basically they say, okay, we're going to use this home as collateral to pay for the services that are being provided here. And it can get to a point where the government now repossesses the entire home. Like, if that home gets repossessed or if that lien kicks in, who gets affected? The inheritors. So what do I do in that situation? So I'm not here, like, there's no easy answer to these things.
So the inheritors would have no, right for that home at that point.
Immediately they don't. But by a father or a mother purposely deteriorating their health, it's going to eat into that. And you can argue, right? I'm the type, in Milas Panta, protect my parents, where I'd be like, I would have the same mindset. I was like, it's not mine anyway. If right now my father decided to buy like a luxury yacht and blow all his money on it, am I in a position to say anything? No. It's the same thing here. You can try to push. Like, you might be able to argue, it's like, hey, listen, I think that's a terrible idea. But it's like I said, sometimes there's no easy answer for these things. It gets very complicated, but at the end of the day, it's like we have to understand I can only push so much. And I have to push to a point where now it's like, no. We tend to know when it's an ego thing. Like, no, he needs to listen to me because I know better. She needs to listen to me because I know better. No. All right, that's where I need to stop. It's like, hey, I tried. And the only thing I can do now is make dua.
Is it appropriate to say, most parents are set in their ways, so when you try to tell them something?
Well, we're all set in our ways.
I mean, that's yes, of course. But I'm saying, unless it's something that we're not picking up right then and there,
Yeah.
and it's a health issue.
Yeah.
So sometimes, especially when you're talking about therapy and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like something maybe, I know,
Yeah.
could be something that.
Yeah. No, so I'm saying, like, maybe speaking to a counselor, I think all of our parents would benefit from, right? But how many of them will actually go to counseling? Right?
Yeah.
So the most I can do is what? Advise. That's it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and our parents, and allow us to have a little bit more open heart with our children. So, Jazakallah khair.
What made you think about DT?
About what?
I did some